Let's talk about what happened with the AFC North this weekend. Going to be a shorter video than usual because there was less AFC North action. Only two games to talk about. Pittsburgh playing the Washington Commanders, Baltimore playing Cincinnati. So, first, I want to talk about my thoughts about Pittsburgh versus the Commanders. I think we're just getting one of those years from Russ, right? I was wondering if this was a situation where the Commanders were going to kind of come back to earth because you're going halfway through the season. We know what Cliff Kingsbury offenses look like in the second half of the season. I also wondered the same things about Russell Wilson. Like, he's been looking great the last couple of weeks. At some point, I'm expecting it to come back to earth. The performance this week makes me think that this is just how Russ is going to look. You got to give a ton of credit to Mike Tomlin because I really think that switching to Russell Wilson was like an unbelievably unpopular decision to do. Not a lot of people in Pittsburgh thought it was a good idea. Not a ton of people outside of Pittsburgh thought it was a good idea. But Mike believed in that decision. And the decisions I think you get the most credit for are the decisions you make that aren't easy. That was not an easy decision for Mike Tomlin. But that is a decision that worked out for them. I got to give credit where credit's due. Pittsburgh Steelers, as good as they looked with Justin Fields, they looked better with Russell Wilson. Did not think that was remotely going to be the case. Did not think that was going to be the case. Thought that we were going to be coming out here laughing at Russ about a month into it, and they would go back to Justin Fields. No, that's wrong. And even the people who thought Russ would be all right in this offense, like some things did come back to earth for the Pittsburgh Steelers, like Najee Harris, for example. 21 carries, 53 yards. Yeah, that's about what I remember Najee Harris being. He ain't been that the last couple of weeks. You got to give him credit for that. But 21 carries, 53 yards. It's not great. I think really what saves Russ more than anything is having a deep target like George Pickens. Maybe that's what he was missing in Denver, is having guys to just throw it up to that can come down with the football. You look at his best receivers in Denver, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. These are great technicians. These are guys who, if you get the ball to on time, they could do a lot with it. But these aren't 50-50 ball contact, catch through contact guys. What he has in Pittsburgh with Mike Williams and George Pickens, and what George Pickens got 7 targets in this game, are guys you could just throw it up to. Right? When he throws those moon balls, they can jump and make something happen with those moon balls. And Russ is very good at delegating when he goes to one, when he doesn't so far this season. Got to give Russ a ton of credit for that. That to me is the most stark thing that I come out of with this Steelers game. Defensively for Pittsburgh, I don't think they're a bad defense. I think Washington's just a good offense. And when it mattered in the fourth quarter, Pittsburgh was able to put up a goose egg defensively for the Washington Commanders. And that's what they needed to win. Pittsburgh's a good team, man. They're going to be very hard to take out the division lead. And I can't believe I'm saying it. I think they're going to win a playoff game. I did not think that would be the case coming into the season, but the results are the results. And we got to talk about them, right? Like, there's a reason why your preseason takes don't last forever, right? Because the season has a way of changing opinions because, hey, Russ playing well. Like, it is what it is. Let's talk about this Bengals-Ravens game. It came down to a 2-point conversion. Now, I don't think that was the wrong call, was to go to a 2-point conversion. My issue with the 2-point conversion is you're not going to your best player. And with Zach Taylor, this is something Ace has said. This is something a lot of Bengals fans have said, and I agree with it. They make the right decision on when to go for it. I don't think they've made a bad decision on when to go for it. I think the issue is that when the Bengals go for it, they don't go to the right people. They're either taking the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands. They're either like calling a timeout when Jamar Chase has an obvious one-on-one with Brandon Stevens, so you can then throw an inside slot pose to a tight end. And I just don't get it. The strength of the Cincinnati Bengals offense is not that they're this crazy high-level scheme. The strength of the Cincinnati Bengals offense are Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. It's those two guys. I don't get why the Bengals seem so unwilling to die on that sword. Because if this game came down to it for the Ravens, Sonny would be furious if the ball wasn't in Lamar's hands or wasn't in Derrick Henry's hands. Because those are the two guys who are going to carry this offense for Baltimore. Like, yeah, you like Mark Andrews. Yeah, you like Isaiah Likely. Yeah, you like Zay Flowers. But if the Ravens got into a 2-point conversion situation and decided that they're going to draw something up for Nelson Aguilar, you'd be furious. I don't get it. I don't get why Zach Taylor does not want to go to his big-time players in big-time moments. When they both proven to be big-time players in big-time moments. Joe Burrow's clutch. Jamar Chase is super clutch. I mean, we saw it in this game. I don't get that tendency from the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't understand it. Otherwise, like the Cincinnati Bengals run D had a good game. Like Derrick Henry was held in check here. They did a good job against Derrick Henry the last time they played. It was Derrick popped off a 50-yard run at the end of the game to kind of ice things. If we're looking at the quarterback position, look, Lamar Jackson's the MVP this year. I know people are going to make the argument for Joe Burrow, but stats-wise, Joe Burrow put up a more impressive game than Lamar Jackson, right? He threw for 428 yards, 4 touchdowns, and I think a lot of people are going to take that and be, hey, man, that's the MVP. Hey, I watched this game. Lamar Jackson was the better quarterback. Lamar Jackson is the better quarterback between the two. Like, he was more efficient with the football. Joe Burrow threw the ball 56 times, only completed 34 passes. Lamar Jackson only threw 33 times, completed 25 passes. And in those 33 passes, he had 4 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson's the best quarterback, not named Pat Mahomes in football, and he's having the best season of any quarterback in football. That dude is the MVP. And keep in mind, he's working with a lot less than what Joe Burrow has. Joe Burrow has one of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver in all of football. Jamar Chase was amazing in this game. 11 receptions, 264 yards, and 3 of Joe Burrow's 4 touchdowns. Jamar Chase is incredible. There is no wide receiver like that for Lamar Jackson. My man's out here making Tylan Wallace look like a star. Tylan Wallace had 115 yards and a touchdown on 3 targets. And he's spreading this thing out. Mark Andrews getting 60. Rashad Bateman getting 50. Zay Flowers getting 34. Lamar has to squeeze so much more out this offense in the passing game to get 290 than what Joe Burrow has to get the over 400. Because let's be honest, a lot of that was Jamar Chase just being great and Joe Burrow being great at getting the ball to Jamar Chase. Lamar Jackson's got to make some of this shit up on his own. And then he got to run the ball. He was the second leading rusher, 7 carries, 33 yards. Yeah, man, this division at the top of it is going to be fascinating because Baltimore has the better quarterback, but I think Pittsburgh has been playing the better football. I don't know who's going to win this division. It's truly a toss-up to me. Now, as far as the Cincinnati Bengals, it's going to be tough. Now, they didn't need to win out these next 3 games, but they do need to win their next 2. The problem is their next 2 games at Los Angeles, and the Chargers are playing really good football as of late. I think they're playing some of the best football in the NFL. Right now, they're 6-3, and that defense for the Chargers is the best defense in all of the NFL. They have not given up more than 20 points all season. Week 1, they gave up 10 points. Week 2, they gave up 3 points. Week 3, they gave up 20 to the Steelers. Week 4 against the Chiefs, they gave up 17 points. They gave up 16 points to the Broncos. They gave up 17 points to the Cardinals, 8 points to the Saints, 10 points to the Browns, 17 points to the Titans. And that offense is really starting to come together. That was struggling early. They're not struggling anymore. Chargers going to be a hard team to beat, especially on the West Coast after a game like this for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be a tough one to get. You got to get both of these. The next game, Pittsburgh. Tough team this year. They're really good. They're not going anywhere. So the Bengals got to win these next two. They got to get to 6-6 by week 12. Because if they lose to the Chargers, they lose to the Steelers, yeah, they'll beat the Cowboys, right? But they'll get to that game, 4-8? You beat the Cowboys, you're 5-8. You beat the Browns, you're 6-8. Maybe you beat the Broncos, you're 7-8. Maybe you beat the Steelers. You just don't got enough wins in there to get back into the playoffs. Once you get to 8 wins, you're talking about a 9-win season at best. But 8 losses, you're talking about a 9-win season at best. My bad. But it's going to start getting real bleak here for Cincinnati Bengals. They got to win one of these next two, and I'm not confident that they're going to be favored to win either two of those games. Pittsburgh's a better team than them right now, despite not having better players than them. And the same thing's true for the Chargers. Are the Cincinnati Bengals capable of pulling an upset and beating those teams? Yeah. Yeah, they're talented as hell. But have they been playing in a way that makes me think that they're going to do that? I don't think so. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a close game for both of those games, and I don't know if the ball's going to bounce their way twice, 2 weeks in a row against two great teams. We'll see. As for the Browns, they were on a bye week, so I don't got to talk about them this week. Y'all have a good one. Peace.